never asked for this. She was lost to me. If you want to make enemies, try to change something. The year is 2027. It's a time of great innovation and technological advancement. It's also a time of chaos and conspiracy. Whose side I'm on.
Breaking news. The riots continue in the streets of Detroit. Protesters rallying outside of Seraph Industries, one of the world's leaders in the controversial science of human augmentation.
These people, Adam, they're like ghosts. Always in the shadows. Always hiding behind lies and proxy soldiers. I need you to find them. They cannot stop us. They cannot stop the future.
I never had a choice of what happened to me.
How do you feel, Adam? The body may heal, but the mind is not always so resilient.
Corporations have more power than the government.
Please.
Police have opened fire on the crowd.
No. It was a feeling. But I can guess. There's so much chaos, someone will do something stupid. And when they do, things will turn nasty.
Were arrested in Brixton.
And then Sutler will be forced to do the only thing he knows how to do.
The orchestrators of the war were by no means strangers to controlling major world events. In fact, they have done so for centuries. From the shadows, they have engineered every major war, revolution, and recession. They control everything you read, everything you hear, and everything you see. They have managed to indoctrinate an entire populace to their way of thinking and have infiltrated key positions in places of authority. And it is from the shadows that they have created a new political order, a new economic order, and more sinister, a new religious order. Their ultimate aim is total global domination, and they will stop at nothing to reach their goal. The goal that was outlined in a speech given by former President of the United States, George Bush.
What is at stake is more than one small country. It is a big idea, a new world order.
To put a name to the conspiracy that's come down to us through the ages, that some call the Illuminati, some other people call it other things. But I think if you boil it down to its purest, simplest form, you would identify it essentially as Freemasonry. Now that might surprise some of you, but understand that Masonry has been around a long, long time. It may not have always been called Freemasonry, but Masons itself brag about the fact that their first Mason was Tubal-Cain. Now, Tubal-Cain, if you know your Bible, was the seventh man from Adam by way of Cain, and he was the guy that invented metalworking. And he is supposedly the first Mason. Now, that's pretty far back to start a conspiracy. Then, of course, you have the flood. After the flood, the Masons say that the first Mason was Nimrod. Now, of course, we all know who Nimrod was. He's the guy that helped build the Tower of Babel. That's pretty good masonry. He was the person who basically had the idea for a one-world government. He wanted to start a United Nations. He had all these great ideas, you know, one-world government, all this kind of stuff, New World Order. And God had other ideas. And God came down and he cast confusion and changed the languages of the people. So they went and scattered abroad on the earth. That basically tells us what God thinks about the United Nations. This caused the conspiracy to go underground. And for centuries it existed in various forms. And if you look in the books, the literature of Masonry, you will find that Masonry says it is the direct linear descendant from the ancient mystery religions, from the ancient fertility cults. Now what does that mean? That sounds sort of exciting and mysterious and exotic.
You know that Barack Obama loves to joke about his cousin, Dick Cheney. Today's New York Times has some more family tree news. Senator McCain is a sixth cousin of First Lady Laura Bush. Senator Clinton's notable relatives are Jack Kerouac, Madonna, Celine Dion, Alanis Morissette, and Camilla Parker Bowles, the wife of Prince Charles. And here's her Hollywood branch. Senator Clinton is a ninth cousin, twice removed, somebody tell me what that means, of actress Angelina Jolie. Not to be outdone, Senator Obama has a common ancestor, 11 generations removed, with actor Brad Pitt. But the big news for Obama brings us to tonight's hardball big number. All Dick Cheney jokes aside, Obama may just have something presidential in him. is not just his fire in the belly. According to the New England Historic Genealogical Society, Obama is related to not one, not two, but at least 6 U.S. presidents. Both Presidents Bush, Gerald Ford, LBJ, Harry Truman, and James Madison, who wrote the Constitution. 6 U.S. presidents in Obama's extended.
Many of the United States presidents have blood relations with each other. The Bush lineage has blood ties to a great number of former presidents. George Washington, Millard Fillmore, Franklin Pierce, Abraham Lincoln, Ulysses Grant, Rutherford Hayes, James Garfield, Grover Cleveland, Teddy Roosevelt, William Taft, Calvin Coolidge, Herbert Hoover, Franklin Roosevelt, Richard Nixon, and Gerald Ford. Darian points out in his work that Bush is closely related to every European monarch on and off the throne, and has kinship with every member of Britain's royal family. Bush's family tree can be documented as far back as the early 15th century. He has a direct descent from Henry III and from Henry VIII's sister Mary Tudor. He is also descended from Charles II of England. And we also find that George W. Bush is a direct descendant of Godfrey the Bullion. Godfrey was the first king of Jerusalem after he recaptured it from the Saracens, which was the name for the Islamic faith during the Middle Ages. It is interesting to note that the current occupation of the United States in the Middle East was re-established by the same family, George Bush Sr. in 1991, and again by George Bush Jr. in 2003. George Bush Jr. is then found to be a cousin to both opposing candidates of his 2 terms in office, Al Gore and John Kerry. Democratic President Barack Obama also has blood ties with George W. Bush, as well as Gerald Ford, Lyndon Johnson, Harry Truman, James Madison, and the British Prime Minister Sir Winston Churchill. On the opposing side of the 2008 presidential ballot, John McCain is descended from Robert the Bruce, King William I of Scotland, and also Godfrey the Bullion.
In either of those first 2 books, though, who knew you and Dick Cheney cousins?
You know, listen, I don't think I'm going to family reunion. I don't know how I'll be greeted.